It's time for Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Tonight, let us make them remember we are not afraid!
No fear here, and declare your independence. Of me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, where it's very nice here at the farm on what? On what? On the land. You know, I wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to share with people what we were doing here, and it was just learning, and we just got our tobacco plant shipped, and we're going, why? Because we're going to roll our own cigars. You know, is there some government agent going to get me? I don't know. I didn't check. Can I have a tobacco plant? I'm just, we'll come to that when it comes. But, last night we had a lot of people here that were touring the land, and they wanted to just, see what was up. And I'm finally getting some stirrings from people. They want to make signs. And I refuse to just, do it again and pick up and be in charge of everything. No, I got plenty to do. We have a lot of material here. We have the stencils. We have the know-how. We have a bunch of leftover paint. We got some of the material, and you guys can get whatever. And we got, floodlights and an area and concrete and a barn. And then, what else you want us to do? It's kind of like Freedom's Phoenix. So what we do is we provide all these tools. We're going to be doing tutorials this week because we're finally finished with a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff. So now we can start doing tutorials. I'm going to get you guys videos on what can be done as an activist going into this next evolutionary cycle. I think you're going to be very surprised. There are a lot of social networking things that you can do and different stuff, but they're not the same. It's like having LRN.FM. Having the signal out there and the ability to listen to it doesn't do you squat if you don't have content. So what we do is we have a bunch of content that you get to select from, and you get to determine how you want to disseminate that, and you can save your favorites over a period of a day or a week or a month, and you have that you can share with your friends. This is very unique in how I, wanted to do as an activist. I built this for, let me think, for who did I build it for? Oh yeah, me. Okay? But I came in with the attitude that you get all the power that I have. You can create your own special edition. You can write. You can share. You can save favorite. You can do all kinds of stuff. Access a lot of goods. And we have dozens of people participating, putting in the material I get sent and we post up that you now can use in educating the minds, because that's what this is all about. How many minds can you free? Once you do that, the rest of the stuff just takes care of itself. No, they need to believe this. They need to think that. They need to take action in. They need to go vote for. They need to, all that stuff's a side effect of a freed mind. If you think you need to force somebody to do something, you're already wrong. If you have to do that, if you have to trick, deceive, you have to coax, you kind of got to, you kind of fuzz around the edges, and what the reality is, you're already losing credibility and no one won't listen to you later. But that's what politics is. It's all the time. Oh, be afraid over here. Do this because of, this is coming if you don't. Shoot them. They're coming right for us. It's just, and you see it in the debates. Dr. Paul, whip this. I'm just, it was all good. We had a big party last night. Donna we used to own a pizza restaurant, so we know how to make some pizza. So she made 6 pizzas, and then people brought a couple and a bunch of other. It was all gone. I didn't get nothing left over. I'm back to my juice. Well, there was a good time had by all. Dozens of people, flowing in and out. A lot of people, I tell you, it's probably half of the people of, I don't know, a lot, dozens. And they would just go out back and they said, I'll watch the Ron Paul highlights later. I can't take it. Because 2 hours of these guys, blah, 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 blah. And I sat there through all of it because I had the comfortable chair. So as they're yakking, this is the impression that I got. Santorum and Pawlenty police. There's no weight there. There's no, what's the word they use? Gravitas. Blah, blah, blah. They got their own special interest thing going on. Then you have Herman Cain, and all he's going to do, I know where this is going. Sooner or later, he's going to be screaming, fair tax and the tax this and tax that, and he's Federal Reserve guy. So this is, it's going to be interesting. They asked Dr. Paul, which one of these guys, if we put a gun to your head, okay, which one of these guys you pick as your VP? And he tried to be diplomatic and nice, and they kept pressing him, and he's going, well, I don't know. They hadn't even told me what they thought about the Federal Reserve yet, or, non-interventionist foreign policy, or, so obviously all of them are disqualified right off the bat. So there's other guys that are coming in that we don't know who they are, and I don't care, and they're going to say, oh, here's the new Ron Paul killer. Yeah, right. So here we had a big push before it was Herman Cain. They're saying, look, man, last debate, he's a shizzle. And I'm going, why? Based on what? Well, he's a businessman kind of thing. He's Federal Reserve. Hello? So we'll see what happens there. Then we had Romney. The whole rhetoric was it's his to lose. He's ahead. He's got the money going into Iowa, going into Romney. So nothing impressive there other than, he didn't, screw up too much, except one part where he said, yeah, it was interesting. I think he got the question, Ron Paul got to answer it too, I think, but there was a question to him, and I get him mixed up, but I think it was the gentleman that had, he was Navy, had 3 sons, I think, in the Navy, and his question was, can we leave Afghanistan now? Just wondering, So this was, interesting how they came in on it. And I remember it was something to do with the war question. Romney comes up and he says, yeah, we need to, get out so we can turn it over to the Taliban military. And they had a shot of a general sitting there going, what? There's a Taliban military? We're turning it over. Then he goes, no, I mean, to the Afghanistan military to protect against the Taliban. That's what I meant, And I don't know what kind of Freudian slip that might have been, but it just goes that it's so confusing. Half of American people listen and they didn't even know what the heck that he made a mistake, or that he even corrected it. This is, it's like blah, 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 blah. Why are we over there? So it's coming down to economics. It always will. And that's what Dr. Paul's been saying. He's going, look, man, we're going to be leaving sooner or later anyway. It's just going to fall of its own weight. These guys are just dragging it out for whatever reason. I have no idea what's going on. But he differentiated himself so clearly from the rest of the field. This is what's going to happen as we go forward. I don't know what is going to happen with the Gary Johnson campaign. I'm looking forward to another round where he's included, to where we get interesting discussions on the drug war and on war and on, even though I don't think that he comes from the same philosophical foundation that I can follow his logic and reasoning, as well as Dr. Paul. But to have that voice out there again, it just shows how much clearer Dr. Paul is. I think that's the fear of Gary Johnson involved in this thing. It's just, there's another Republican, executive experience, years as a governor of New Mexico, big veto of big government stuff being sent to him by the Democrats in his legislature. So it's going to be interesting. He gets included, which is why they don't want him included, I'm sure. So my impression of the debate, again, I after the debate, we had up on Freedom's Phoenix. I'm sure it's still there towards the bottom now. We had a busy day in news, but you'll have Dr. Paul's highlights. Just like we remember 4 years ago, people immediately would take all the questions asked with Dr. Paul answering, and it's 14 minutes. So out of 2 hours, 14 minutes, not bad. Dr. Paul is giving them what? Fur. Well, that's all you need to know is watching that. You'll see how much butt whipping he did. We'll talk about each of the candidates when we come back in just a little bit.